Alrighty, folks, I got a special treat for you today. I have a brand new guest to the channel, someone I've actually met a couple of times. He has an amazing story about going from zero to over 20 units in a relatively short time. I feel like he did it the right way. He did it by doing the work, laying the foundation. House hacking is a big part of it. Why don't we welcome Michael to the show and we will dig into the story and find all the twists and turns to get there. Michael, thank you for being here.
Hey, good morning, Mike. Thanks for inviting me. I appreciate it.
Oh, absolutely. I think your story is one that needs to be told. Why don't you introduce yourself to the audience, who you are, what you do today, and then we'll go back to, day one, if you will, next.
Definitely. Good morning, everyone. Hi. My name is Michael Manatskanian. I live in San Diego. I'm a veteran. I'm an engineer by trade, but I'm also a real estate investor. My wife and I started with house hacking, and now we pretty much specialize in a variety of forms of creative financing, primarily subject to and seller financing. We have over 40 rentals, some with partners, some that are local, some that are out of state. But it all started with doing the work and house hacking. So I'd love to dive into it.
Yeah, let's go back to the beginning because I think that's what trips up a lot of people sometimes is we put out stories about 20 plus or 40 of this, and maybe they watch because they're like entertained by the number. But as you know, I like getting people started, right? I always tell people 4 units can change your life.
Mhm.
So I believe your story doesn't start in San Diego. It starts in a much colder place, the state of Alaska. Do I remember that right?
Yes, sir. That's correct. I actually tried to learn about real estate investing the first time I lived in San Diego. Even
Okay.
condos didn't make sense I was looking for cash flow. I couldn't find cash
Yeah.
flow no matter what I did. Even if I split it
Yeah.
up with three roommates, it wasn't going to work. But I'm happy to go into it a little bit.
Yeah.
I always joke to people because they look at my age and just how quickly everything was done, and they think it just kind of happens overnight. And I do joke, yeah, it does happen overnight. It's doing the work overnight for 5 straight years is how we become an overnight success, right?
Well, let's talk about
uh,
because again, I say it all the time. People want what we have now, but I'm like, you haven't paid the price for 20 plus years, of daily doing the work. So let's talk about your 5 year journey because what I remember from our conversations is it just starts with doing the work, right? You were underwriting deals, you were learning things. The first one, let's go back to the decision that you and your wife had, and then you start doing the work in Alaska. I mean, because again, what were you renting? Were you living on base? What were you guys doing?
I'm gonna take it right back to the start, the origin story. So in
Cool.
2018, I graduated from UC San Diego, chemical engineer in 2017. I was on the
Okay.
path to, gain financial independence through, long-term investing in the stock market. All was good. It was going to take me 20 plus years. Cool. That was the plan. But at the same time, I started learning about real estate investing, and I actually gave up one of my engineering internships to work for a large apartment complex as a leasing consultant. So I could
Oh,
yeah, so I was very interested in learning about real estate at the time. And I figured who better to
hmm.
learn from than people that are actively doing stuff. I didn't realize that role wasn't really going to teach me a lot about real estate investing, but it did teach me about tenant screening and
Hmm.
the light bulb moment was when the owners came in one time, and I was probably pestering them with questions, but I just wanted to know how they got to where they
Wow.
were. And their model is basically just burring large multifamily properties. Basically, they buy it cash, renovate it, refinance it, and then they just move on to the next one and pull their money out and keep doing that. And I thought
Hmm.
that is incredible, and that just started the spark. I didn't think I was going to buy 100 plus unit multifamily in San Diego anytime soon, but that was the spark to get basically dove headfirst into everything bigger pockets, podcasts, played around with our calculator as much as possible, read all the blogs that I could, just learning as much as I could.